DEWALT DWS780 Double Bevel Compound Miter Saw Review. I've owned several miter saws in my woodworking career. In fact, when I started out in carpentry, we were still using hand-powered miter saws to cut door and window casings. Great strides in safety and function have been made since my first Rockwell power miter saw in the 1970s, a really scary machine, through the various design changes of the stationary and slide miter saws. Needless to say, as I opened the box of my new DEWALT DWS780 sliding dual bevel miter saw, I was eager to see the latest improvements. This saw is impressive from the start. The retail cost is around $600, so your pocketbook tells you right away that it's definitely a saw designed for the professional. But keep an eye out for sale prices more in the $400 range. Since I carry my saw with me to installation jobs, I was hoping it would be a bit lighter than its 56 pounds, but I soon realized that a saw with this much stability and function couldn't be a feather box. That being said, I encourage you to check yours with test cuts before plunging into a project. The machine is fully adjustable and after setup will give very precise results from a simple crosscut to a complex compound crown molding cut. This saw is extremely versatile. You can cut a full 48-degree bevel to the right or left. Miters are equally versatile, allowing you to cut 50 degrees to the left and a full 60 degrees to the right. The dual bevel feature allows you to cut your workpiece in the orientation you choose, which will help minimize errors caused by flipping workpieces upside down or end for end. The saw table rotates nicely and is hassle-free. The lock lever needs just a downward push to lock the blade to any angle of miter cut. No more twisting and turning knobs. The table also stops at convenient detents for common cuts and for cutting crown molding flat against a table. If you need infinite variability, a bypass lever gets you free of detents and allows you to quickly move to any degree. The blade shadow feature that even the teeth of the saw blade can be seen from the shadow cast from the bright LED lights that straddle the blade. Just align your pencil line with the saw blade shadow for an extremely accurate cut line. This feature is great indoors but won't perform as well outdoors on a sunny day. The stationary lever is a nice feature when you don't need to cut with the slide mechanism. The lever flips onto a stud and prevents the saw from sliding, so you can cut smaller trim in the old-fashioned chop mode. For best results, turn the lock knob on top of the glide tube to ensure it stays locked even if the lever gets bumped. The saw has bevel adjustments galore. There are stop pulls for 22.5 degrees and 33.9 degrees that can be rotated into or out of position easily. You'll also find a 45-degree stop lever that you can turn out of the way if you need a bevel cut at 48+ degrees. The bevels are easily adjusted and will remain accurate as long as you are careful with your saw during transport. Another cool feature is the depth of cut lever. You can adjust the depth precisely by moving the depth of cut set screw in or out. This nifty adjustment will allow you to cut a dado across a board. To do this, however, you'll need to position a spacer between the workpiece and the fence to ensure the dado cut will extend all the way to the back of the board. The dust chute is strategically placed to collect the majority of sawdust. I used a vacuum attached to the vac port on the back of the saw, which was an improvement over the bag provided. The depth of cut feature works well for an auxiliary bed and fence. I often cut small moldings with my miter saw, but find that the factory fence doesn't give enough support for tiny pieces. That's when I mount my auxiliary fence to the saw. My bed and fence are permanently glued together. The depth of cut adjustment keeps the blade from cutting all the way through the plywood bed, so I can focus on the cut and not worry about ruining the fixture. In summary, if you're looking for an accurate, durable and smooth cutting saw with ample power for thick wood, this is a saw worth considering. You could make, especially if you upgrade from the 60-tooth to an 80-tooth or higher count blade. The saw doesn't come with extension supports, but a good work support stand is available from DEWALT, or you could do like most woodworkers and build your own saw stand to suit your needs. Thank you for